Well, it's not just the cutting edge of Chinese music creating a buzz in Austin, and other companies and sectors are pulling out all the stops to show off their country's best and brightest. For more, I'm joined by Shobeir Shobeiri, who hosted the Mobile Games for China meetup earlier today. Shobeir is Director of Business Development at Mintegral, an AI-driven interactive advertising platform. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So give us an idea, in terms of the size and scope of Chinese presence this year, who are the standout attendees for you this year?
Well, I would say there's a lot of organizations that are representing Chinese companies this year, of which we represented more on the mobile and gaming side of things. There's definitely been presence on the AI, on crypto, and other, but for us, we've primarily focused on the mobile and gaming side.
And did it feel as though there were greater or fewer Chinese-related events and panels compared to previous years?
That I don't know. I actually think, from my experience, there's been a lot more. I used to never hear panels about internationalization and actually going to China. This year, I felt like every vertical had that. I mean, for example, we were the representation Mintegral did for mobile and gaming. And I know for a fact that, again, today I saw another company that did cryptocurrency. They were representing a Chinese panel and meetup. So at least from my perspective, I thought there's a lot more actually that's been represented here this year in South by 2019.
And with your focus on artificial intelligence and mobile gaming, how would you say the impression of Chinese business has changed, especially given the recent trade tensions?
Yeah, AI is a funny discussion, right? There's this talk about who's doing it much faster, is it the US or China? And reality, I think China is actually winning this because of the fact that, when the Chinese say they want to do something, they do it really quickly with the infrastructure. And there's a lot more STEM representation on the engineering side. So at least what we're seeing here right now in the discussion points is, in a $150 billion market in China, they're doing it as a goal, is supposed to be by 2030. Some say actually they're actually faster than the US right now. And the US is lacking because the fact that there's not as much STEM talent here. It's very difficult to actually attract talent now with what's going on with the laws from abroad. So, I think you'll hear more and more news that China is going to have a lot more in the lead with regards to AI. And with us, specifically Mintegral, we have the biggest mobile ad network in China. We have over 400 million active users, and we help focus on targeting these ads for, say, gamers to the right gaming audience with AI and robotics.
Now, AI was a major topic on the China-related panels. What were some of the interesting things or trends that you noticed?
Well, we noticed specifically that gaming is really big in China. It's a very hidden gem right now. Last year, mobile-specific $21 billion was surpassed in revenue. And there's this kind of discussion of East meets West. And so what we do is we're working with a lot of US-based companies, and that's why we're here. We're talking a lot of studios to break the ice on how to do business in China. The dollar amounts are the same as the US. And then just kind of guiding them through, the best practices and understanding how a user is there. Over there, a lot of users are mobile first, more than they use any type of other device when it comes to the internet. And so understanding that presence and actually the fact that you actually go directly to the Apple App Store with no issue of tariffs or taxation directly to China is a big, big win, I feel like, for any game studio here in the US.
So in that spirit of East meets West, what message did Chinese executives and government leaders bring about doing business in China?
Yeah, it's interesting. Historically, you'll see, things when you open up saying made in China, but US-based products. Now, the Chinese products are now the global brands, right? In the last year, and specifically in our industry, Tencent and NetEase surpassed $10 billion in revenue, of which a lot of which is internationally. And some of the name brands that you'll see, for example, TikTok, the social media app, is competing head-on with Instagram. There's Anta, the shoe company that has people like Klay Thompson, the Warriors, wear them. And even Byton, the car company that competes with Tesla, the electric car company, they had representation here. So in our generation, you'll see more and more, not just now, but in the next few years, of brands that are going to be homebred brands around the world, but they're Chinese companies.
So in terms of lessons you think that either Chinese companies trying to get into the US or vice versa can learn from each other, what were some of the things that you picked up?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things you're seeing is the way that Chinese companies are actually growing the U.S. is they're investing in them a lot. And I use Tencent because this is our industry in mobile and games. They've invested, and what they do is they get a board seat in these game studios and/or they have an executive representation in them. And a lot of the brands that you see that Tencent is investing in is, for example, like Glue or Supercell, and many of which have gotten successful in China. And what we're seeing also is we help, let's say, local representation better understand if they want to make money in China, how to make money with advertising, because in the culture of China, mobile advertising is much more open than it is in the West, actually. Users in China are very friendly and understanding, and they actually love playing games and sharing it with each other through platforms like WeChat.
All right, Shobeir Shobeiri, Director of Business Development at Mintegral. Thanks so much.